What if I told you the biggest risk for NWBO investors is not the science, it is the waiting. A lot of investors believe Northwest Biotherapeutics could become one of the biggest biotech success stories. Maybe they are right, maybe they are wrong. Because biotech investing is very different from investing in normal companies. One day everything looks perfect. The next day, one piece of news changes the entire story. That is exactly why every investor should understand the risks before expecting big rewards. And trust me, the biggest risk is not the one most people are talking about. So let's start with something every investor notices very quickly. The stock price. NWBO is known for moving up and down very fast. Sometimes a single news update can make investors excited. Sometimes a rumor creates panic. Sometimes nothing important even happens, but the price still moves sharply. If you are someone who checks your portfolio every hour, this stock can become emotionally exhausting. Many people buy after seeing the price jump. They think they are about to miss a huge opportunity. Then the stock falls. Fear takes over. They sell. A few weeks later, the price recovers. This happens again and again in the stock market. The biggest mistake is not buying the wrong stock. It is letting emotions control your decisions. If you cannot handle large price swings, NWBO may not be the right investment for you. Now let's talk about something even more important. Many investors think that good clinical results automatically mean approval, but that is simply not true. Biotech companies have to pass through a very strict regulatory process. Every detail is reviewed carefully. Safety, effectiveness, manufacturing, quality, everything matters. Sometimes regulators ask for more information. Sometimes they ask for additional studies. Sometimes the entire process takes much longer than investors expected. Every delay creates uncertainty, and uncertainty usually creates fear. That fear often pushes investors to sell before the real outcome arrives. This is why regulatory approval remains one of the biggest risks for NWBO. No matter how exciting the technology looks, nothing is guaranteed until every step is completed. And in the next part, the risks become even bigger, because we are going to talk about money, competition, and the one risk that could decide whether NWBO becomes a huge success or a huge disappointment. Now we come to the risks that many investors ignore. The first one is cash. Developing new cancer treatments is extremely expensive. Research costs money, clinical trials cost money, manufacturing costs money, running the business costs money. If a company spends more cash than it earns, eventually it may need more funding. One common way to raise money is by issuing new shares. That means the total number of shares increases, and existing shareholders own a smaller percentage of the company. This is called dilution. It is common in biotech, but it is still something every investor should understand. Now imagine the company finally receives approval. Most people think that is the finish line. Actually, it is only the beginning. The company still has to convince doctors, hospitals, healthcare systems, insurance companies, and patients. Manufacturing must increase. Distribution must work smoothly. Everything has to come together. Even great products sometimes struggle after launch. Success is never automatic. And now we reach the biggest risk of all, expectations. Many investors believe NWBO could deliver massive returns. Some expect life-changing gains. When expectations become too high, even good news may not be enough. If progress is slower than investors hoped, the market can react negatively. The stock market does not reward dreams. It rewards results. Here is my personal opinion. I believe NWBO is one of the most interesting speculative biotech companies to watch. The opportunity could be very large, but the risk is also very high. I would never invest money that I cannot afford to leave invested for several years. Patience is just as important as picking the right stock. As for the future price, nobody can predict it with certainty. If the company achieves major regulatory success and commercial growth, the upside could be significant. But if delays continue or commercialization disappoints, the stock could remain under pressure. That is why every investor should do their own research before making any decision. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe NWBO could become one of the biggest biotech success stories, or do you think the risks are still too high? Tell me your opinion in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and join us for more stock analysis. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.